First event of the morning. There are 3 heats of the men's 200 meters butterfly, and it's all cyclically seeded, so there'll be big names from the off here. James Guy, Mason Wilby going for England in the first one. Tom Bealey going for Scotland. There's Chandler Close games record, 154 dead. Christoph Milak is in a completely different ballpark to everybody else right now. Broke Michael Phelps' record at the recent World Championships, 150.34.
It's an absolutely incredible swim here. Like I said, I don't think we'll see anybody challenge that. That's fair to say. You never know. Strange things have happened. But this is a real opportunity here. As you said, there's only 3 heats. Athletes will have different targets. So, like some of them will be looking, obviously, everyone wants to get in a final. But a lot of these outside lanes, as we see in the heats, just looking to come in and better their personal best times, their national records. A lot of them have been national record holders. Sometimes we have a few repeaters, but like sometimes this is people waiting for this event to come as well.
Right, we saw the lineup there. Jersey, Scotland, 2 from England, 1 from Jamaica, 1 from Gibraltar will be involved in this. But to remind you, and I know we've said this several times over the first 3 days, but it's something that's not common elsewhere. Just for the Commonwealth Games, the 200s convert to finals, no semi-finals. So you've got to get a top 8 place. Mason Wilby for England, who is based in America, University of Kentucky at the moment. We'll be hoping that he could get there. And James Guy, after what, by his very, very high standards, was probably not the best split in the 100 free last night, will be wanting to make amends for that.
Yeah, and I think, like we said, a lot of people got busy programs. We're used to James Guy having a busy program, but it's unusual that he has to wait till the final event of day 2 to get going. And sometimes, rightly or wrongly, some athletes just when they're used to having big programs, they need that first swim to dust off. And for him, it was a final. Obviously, typically, you'd get the opportunity to do that in a heat.
So, Isaac Dodds for Jersey, who is actually based in the city of Leicester in England. And Plymouth Meander-based Tom Bealey of Scotland. American-based Mason Wilby of England. They're all in the wrong countries at the moment, aren't they, in terms of the nationality. James Guy down in Bath. Keenan Dolls of Jamaica will be in 6th, and John Paul Baliki of Gibraltar in lane 7. Also best for Wilby, who isn't related to James, by the way. You might think he is, but he's not. 155.97. James Guy was in the final of the 200 fly at the recent World Championships. So 4 legs of this Sandwell Aquatic Centre pool. James Guy generally gets up to a very good start and tries to hold on to the last 50.
Well, over there in lane 3, Tom Bealey of Scotland, he actually had the best reaction time and the best propulsion off the block. There you can see in lane 5 is James Guy. And as there are only 3 heats here, these athletes can't afford to go too easy in this run. They haven't got that luxury because it will be the 8 fastest swimmers across the 3 heats that progress to the finals. So they'll have to be looking to put down a good time and put some space between the person who wins the heat and somebody else, so that you're not left waiting, staring at those results. But the first 50 is all about easy speed, using that propulsion off the block, getting the momentum, finding your stroke, and then typically with that 200 meters you want to build through, as we see them here come into the first 100.
25.790 was in the first 50. It is 55.59 for James Guy, who's been doing hundreds more than he's been doing 200s of late. But he's having quite a race here with Mason Wilby, the 2 Englishmen side by side. Tom Bealey just a little bit back off the pace, but James Guy holding on from the American-based Wilby in lane number 4.
Yeah, they're pretty much here. It is Wilby just shadowing Guy at the moment, letting Guy take it out. We'll get to that final 50 and they'll turn. And then that's when Mason Wilby will try to overhaul James Guy. You can see these turns here. And at that great underwater shot, and Wilby did use that underwater extremely well there to come up ahead of James Guy. And the touch will be important in this first heat.
Yeah, all about times, all about the top 8 times is what we're looking at here. And Mason Wilby has taken over from James Guy. James Guy is trying to respond. I'm not sure there's much left in the tank for the Englishman who's closest to us. Mason Wilby, based in the States, is just about going to get the touch. A little bit of a glide at the end. But nonetheless, he got there in 157.97. That's the winning time for him. James Guy in 158.3. and Tom Bealey 1:59.4. That's your 1, 2, 3. England 1 and 2, Scotland in 3, and Mason Wilby. That's a good feather in his cap to beat James Guy in this one.
Yeah, and as we've said already, important that touch, because you've got no idea the tactics that the other athletes are going to use in those later heats. So you've got to put your marker down. Wilby really there. He let James Guy do all the work in that first 150 meters and then just used that underwater on that final turn to get him up and into the lead.
Well, Wilby should be through 1:58. I don't know. We'll have to wait.